This game here will always hold a special place in my heart. Walking into that open world for the first time is an unforgettable gaming experience. And oh my goodness man, that OST? Bro, this soundtrack is sensationally iconic. If you've played this title before, simply playing any one of the plentiful ambient background soundtracks will fill your mind with nostalgia and memories. All of us will remember Skyrim for many different reasons, whether it be the story, the combat, the deep lore, the factions, the characters, and maybe even that kind of odd but more so iconic intro. There are plenty of motivations for you to fall in love with the story and package that Bethesda has served to us on this great platter. But today I want to talk about Skyrim because it achieves something special not only in the way the game feels, but structurally as well. Skyrim is the gateway drug, the starter pack, your starting point to falling in love with the beautiful genre that is the single player RPG. The day I completed Skyrim for the first time was the reason I fell in love with gaming in the first place. It was a game far from my comfort zone, and honestly, it's probably the reason this YouTube channel even exists today. It was the reason I truly became a real gamer. Before, I was pretty much a guy who used to play FIFA and a few movie and superhero games here and there. But what I would do is play those same games over and over again, whether it was Superhero Squad way back on the PlayStation 2 or FIFA Career Mode. Those were my options and I definitely played those games to death. I always saw people that played these type of games as a little bit too nerdy, so I personally never had any interest in them. But after experiencing the game for myself, I finally found out what I was missing out on. I've actually made a video on this kind of topic before, but goodness me man, I made it so long ago, and because of that the production quality is definitely on the low side. But the things that I talk about can definitely give you some real value if you're interested. Go ahead and give that video a check out if you also maybe want to have a look at the growth. But now that we've said all that, let's get right into the video. Why is Skyrim a structural masterpiece? Skyrim is a deeply flawed game. While it is a masterpiece, there are many directions in which you can pick this game completely apart, whether it be the plot holes that happen in the story, the very janky combat that you experience, and the huge insurmountable number of bugs that you will experience that can be sometimes game breaking and main quest breaking, which can completely ruin your experience as you realize that damn, I don't have any previous saves to get out of this really perilous situation. While all of that is true, as a gamer being introduced to the single-player RPG genre, there is no better game that will aptly introduce you to all the complex mechanics an RPG has to offer. From the very beginning, you'll realize that you have a real player choice, perhaps for the first time in your video game experience. The question that you may ask is, what's so special about Skyrim? Why this game in particular? What about Skyrim is so special that it's going to force or push or prod the casual gamer into becoming something more? From the moment you begin Skyrim, you're treated to a rich conversation that may seem confusing or even inconsequential on your first playthrough. You're being given vital lore and information on the current standings of the world in which you are going to occupy. The Imperial versus the Stormcloak Rebellion. But that all seems to be for naught. It is shortly going to be executed alongside the leader of the Stormcloaks, Ulfric. An unlucky turn of events as you're sent to the execution block. From that, you're sent over to your character creation screen that is quite decently packed with depth, choosing from your looks, your race, and freedom is completely given on how you want to create your ideal hero or villain. And from this, you're able to get a brief idea of what each race has to offer, but you won't truly understand what those consequences are going to be until you play the game for yourself. All you know about are the multiple attack bonuses or ice or frost defenses that you're born with. And my G, let me just take this moment to commend how aesthetically pleasing and user-friendly the user interface is. So well executed. As someone who was a beginner to the space, it was so clear to understand what was going on. Then, by an unlikely turn of events, your execution is actually stopped as the dragon fight immediately thrusts you into the very organic tutorial of you stealing, picking up, sneaking, and all the main game mechanics that you're going to be dealing with. Depending on the choice that you make, you're going to face a number of consequences. Whether you choose to sneak or you choose to take your enemy head on, you're going to suffer those consequences. If you sneak, it's probably going to be a slightly easier experience if you're able to pull it off, even though it is a bit iffy, the sneaking mechanic. But if you choose to fight them head on, you're definitely going to learn some new things as well, as you realize that some enemies can't be taken on head on. And once you escape the cave, you're shown the beautiful landscape of Skyrim, where you have complete and utter freedom. You're given the vital information of going to Whiterun and informing the Jarl of the return of the dragons. Or you can take this moment to forge your own journey. You can go and interact with a nearby village, explore the curious rock structure, and you can find out what blessings you can get in return. You can go where you want and when you want. There are no restrictions, unlike other open world games where there are portions of the map that are initially restricted to you because you have not yet unlocked them. This is not your typical action adventure game where part of the map is locked off. This is an RPG where player choice is absolutely paramount. The world is your oyster and any path can be taken. Even if you follow the path set for you, you won't be disappointed. Personally, I wasn't actually a confidence gamer at the time, and the idea of actually exploring this huge, scary open world was kind of daunting for me, so I ended up following the beaten path for the majority of the first couple of hours. I went to Whiterun. I went to the village first, got some information, got my bearings, went to the Jarl, informed them of the dragon, went on a few quests with them, and then on I had the confidence to be able to go out, form my own journeys, explore the world, go to High Hrothgar, go to many other places on my own, and discover the many things that the game had to offer. The leveling up system and other RPG mechanics are also quite simple and easy to understand. The more you do something, the more competent you'll become at that task, with easy ways to determine how to level up. Even a toddler would be confused on how to upgrade which upgrade tree. While Skyrim is still a complex game in general, in the RPG space, I'd say it's much more straightforward than its competitors. From the alchemy, crafting and enchanting and even cooking, the systems are easy and quite enjoyable once you get the hang of it, and the beauty is that you don't even have to interact with these systems if you don't actually want to. I only began crafting armor and making potions in probably my third playthrough, but during my first and second playthrough, I was out there enchanting weapons, especially adding that stealing health buff every time you hit your enemies. The map is also absolutely gorgeous, with a dynamic map that shows you the topography very clearly. You're able to clearly see the contours. You can see that, okay, if I go here, I'm going to be going to a higher altitude and I'll be going to a mountain, so I probably won't be able to go straight through, and I'll in fact have to find a path around it. And this is how you organically find paths for yourself and see, okay, this is the direction I can take if I'm here, and this is the direction I can't take when I'm over there. You'll also be introduced to the fast travel system, so meaning once you've discovered a location, you'll be able to fast travel there anytime you want. This is a very simple way to teach the player that exploration will be rewarded. Now, previously I mentioned that the bugginess of Skyrim is a flaw, but I'll be honest, as someone who's new to the genre, it might actually cause you to do a few good things. From playing Skyrim, I was introduced to the online gaming community, and as I was actually forced to because I was looking for bug fixes on YouTube. Going on YouTube, going on Reddit to discover these gaming communities was just a cool way for me to interact with more people, find out about different experiences, and solve the plentiful issues that I was facing in my playthrough. The plentiful number of bugs I experienced forced me to do this as I came across a main quest breaking bug. From these experiences, I came to the realization of how to solve these issues and to be prepared for the next RPG I play that they could also have similar issues. By the time you finish the experience, you've maybe done your first or second playthrough, you realize that Skyrim has provided a game and an experience that's essential for your gaming development. Skyrim was my first RPG, and since then I've played many more. and as I've gotten older and have gone to great lengths to analyze game design, it's great to come to the realization that I probably started off with the best RPG of all time, not just because of its groundbreaking nature and graphics, storytelling and world building, but because Skyrim is structurally the best starting point for you to love single player RPGs. While I was writing this, I was listening to the Skyrim OST and I could feel all those great memories flowing back into me. It was the first game that truly gave me a source of escape. The ability to go to a land far, far away where every decision that I would make in the world would affect it. For a game to be able to move me to such a degree for a genre that I wasn't even interested or even cared about is definitely quite special. I hope this video will find someone who doesn't really play these type of games to finally go ahead and give them a real try and finally take the plunge. And for those who've already played this masterpiece, this video is to give them a newfound appreciation for a game that we already hold so dear.